Yo, welcome back to Redzone Rants. I'm Ant.
This is Dev.
What's up with the audience, man? How you doing today, Dev?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm ready to go. Episode 2, I'm feeling good.
Yes, sir, man. I love to hear it. I love to hear it, man. You want to start us off with the impactful rookies, man?
Yeah, fuck yeah. You want to go first? Me.
Hey, I'll go first this time. I go
All
first this
right.
time. My first one, I'm gonna go with Will Anderson, edge rusher, Houston Texans. He was selected third overall. He had 204 total tackles in a 3-year period at Alabama, 59 tackles for loss, 35 sacks. So I think the writing was on the wall for his sophomore year. He was voted Defensive Player of the Year, but he couldn't leave for the draft. So, like he had to stay that extra year. And last year, Alabama was kind of off. So I think he got like a bad report. Actually, it was kind of a down year when you go off the first 2 years, but I don't
Yeah.
think it was that deep because he still went top five. So I like Will Anderson. For my second one, I really like Jordan Addison, the wide receiver from USC.
Yo.
He actually didn't have a super great year his last year at USC for reasons of I don't really know. I think health wise came into play, but his sophomore year at Pittsburgh, he had 1,500 yards, 100 grabs, 17 total touchdowns. So I think when you compare him with a guy like Justin Jefferson, because they just lost Dalvin, so they're craving. You got Hawkinson, I think it'll open up for him. So with
Hmm.
a lot of targets and my last one. This is my sleeper one, man. I was mad the Bengals did not go out and get this guy. Dalton Kincaid, man, from Utah. 6'5", 250. He's not the fastest tight end, but man, he's probably easily the best blocking tight end that was in the draft. He had 890 yards receiving, 70 grabs, 8 touchdowns. So the guy he's a demon. I feel like Joe Burrow would have benefited that guy a lot, but
Oh, for sure.
him going to Josh Allen though to the Bills is they
Scary.
man, they haven't had. I don't think they've ever had. I mean, Knox was okay, but they haven't really had a tight end of this caliber. And
Mm-mm.
Knox's biggest downfall is he suffered the block. He didn't really like putting his hands on linemen. So
Nah.
I think you add in that guy. I think man, Josh Allen goes to another level as well.
For me, my first one, I got Jonathan Mingo. He was taken by the Panthers, wide receiver.
I like that.
They just lost DJ Moore last season, or this offseason. They lost CMC last year. They got a young rookie quarterback, and that receiver room's thin. They got Adam Thielen, who's old and dookie water, if we're being honest.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's not beating me.
nah, they got DJ Chark, who just earlier today, though, I saw he just went down with a hamstring injury. So that receiving room is already thin. I think this rookie, he's
Wow.
6'2". He's got like a 40-inch vertical. He's like 4'4", 40 times. So I feel like he could come in and make an immediate impact. Maybe make Bryce Young's rookie campaign a little easier for him.
Yeah, definitely needed because man, they traded everybody before Bryce got there. So
Yeah. Yeah, they did. They certainly ain't making it easy for a rookie quarterback to come in there. But number two, I got Christian Gonzalez to the Patriots. I feel like, you
Thorn, I
know,
like
arguably, debatably, probably the best defensive back in this draft class.
for
Uh,
sure.
he's quick, sub 4'4", huge wingspan. He can go up. His technique needs work, but when you got a coach like Bill Belichick, you're going to get all the coaching and all the help you need coming in for sure.
Defensive backs too. A lot of people don't know, but he was a defensive back in his playing career, and he coached defensive backs as his first gig. So it's
Yeah.
no why there's guys like Malcolm Butler that became a Pro Bowler on his level, and he revived Darrell Reeves' career after Tampa Bay, and
Yeah.
J.C. Jackson and Stephon. The guy really, people give Bill his credit for making these DBs, but
Devin McCourty.
these guys go elsewhere, right? And they become very like low in production. Like
Yeah.
you know what Malcolm Butler did in Tennessee?
Nothing.
Not
No.
more than you. So I mean, that just says a lot.
It does for sure. And the Patriots, they were a team whose passing defense last year wasn't the best. It was like middle of the league. So I feel like a guy like him will be able to come in and really amp that passing defense up to what Bill Belichick is used to.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think Bill Belichick was ever used to having a mediocre defense as he did last year. But I honestly think the Will fell off. Matt Jones and the quarterback situation. I think that it affected the whole team.
It did. It did. Swapping back and forth between quarterbacks is never easy.
Did you guys beat them last year?
No, we did not. I feel like you knew what you was doing bringing that up, but that's crazy.
Hey,
That's
my bad.
no,
Random.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
The last one I got Mozzie Smith for the Cowboys.
mm,
Uh, he's huge. He's huge. He's like 320 something,
oh,
6'3". He's gonna beef up the middle of that D line. They were not a very good run defense last year, which was surprising to me. They were
yeah.
like bottom 11, I think, in rush yards allowed per game. So somebody like him who's big, kind of almost like Vince Wilfork kind of build, he could come in and really plug up the middle of that D line for them. I feel like, even though I can't stand the Cowboys, I think he's going to be huge for them for sure.
I think the craziest part about the D line stat about the defensive rush is they're so opposite on rushing the quarterback though. But that's the biggest flaw was ironically was Micah Parsons defending the run and read option. Like,
Yeah.
well, start exposing that, they really start rushing a lot off on the Dallas Cowboys. So
Oh,
I think
for sure.
Micah getting more experience will help with that. I think you bring, like you said, Mozzie coming in with also some close middle. Even though I felt like Jalen Carter to the Eagles was, whoo, that was a steal.
That's definitely a steal. Somebody should have stepped in and prevented that from happening for sure.
I think what they do draft 3 out of 4 of the Georgia D linemen on the Eagles
Yeah.
squad. Yeah, but that's beside the point though. I think Mozzie is definitely going to help a division like that out who loves to run the ball with
Oh,
Saquon,
for sure.
Jalen Hurts. So I
In a
think
division like that, you can't afford to have a weak run defense. You can't at all. So I think he'll be a big improvement in that area for them, as well as Micah Parsons maybe stepping up in that department. Obviously, he's a great pass rusher, but like you said, the rushing and the read options really kind of makes him take a step back almost.
really fucked them up. We can say that.
You did. It fucked him up bad. So
I mean, shit was outrageous, man. I'm watching the Eagle game, and I'm like, man, this guy, he just you get that he's so elite at rushing the passer because if it was just on run defense, Madden overall probably isn't over a 75.
nah, not at all. Not at all. Pass rusher, he's in the 90s. Overall, man, that rush it drops him down way low. So
Yeah, I think that's what separates guys like Micah and TJ Watt and other valuable edge rushers. Guys that know how to play the run, but also know how to read that type of stuff. Because you
mhm.
can't be one dimensional. That's what hurt the Cowboys is they couldn't stop the run. So
Yeah,
once guys like Micah develop that trait, they step onto another gear. They go from Pro Bowler to All Pro. So.
which is crazy thing about Micah is what this is his third season. He's
Mhm.
coming off of his second season and he's already on the level that he's on. That's insane.
I'd hate to see him in year 6, year 7.
Crazy.
Yeah, but what you got for these sophomore breakouts though, my brother? You can start us.
Number one, I think, is clear and pretty obvious. George Pickens.
Oh,
George Pickens. I mean, dude, the game's going on right now, and like 20, 30 minutes ago, he just caught like a 50 something yard pass down the sideline, right inside the 5 yard line. It is preseason. It's preseason. But, you know, this one kind of holds hands almost with Kenny Pickett, too, sophomore breakout. I've heard nothing but positivity coming out of camp, and once again, it's preseason, and he even said it's preseason, none of it matters. But I think he already looked halfway to the end of last season. I see no reason why that duo can't really break out this year together.
Kenny Pickett is the reason.
Nah, Kenny Pickett will be the reason it does break out. Yeah.
Hey, you got a lot of faith in your guy, man. I love Pickens though. I ain't gonna lie. Pickens he's a baller. The problem is though, I, I'm not sold on Pickett. I really got to see a little more. He played great. I want to say the last 4 games you guys won last year, so he got better as the season went on. But I just got to see a little bit more. Matt Jones went what 5-1 last 6 games as a rookie. So
Yeah,
you got to see that translate into sophomore year.
you
More.
definitely do. Definitely
But
do.
as far as Pickett, the pick, I knew you was going there. I knew you was going
Oh,
there.
for sure.
I
For
respect. I think
sure.
Pickett had a great play on us last year. I think it was like a 40-yarder in Pittsburgh for a touchdown.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was,
he did. And then that catch against Cleveland last year was
oh man,
nutty.
felt like
Yeah. Next up, not many people believe in this guy. Uh, Sam Howell, the Commanders' starting quarterback going into this season. I think he didn't get much of a chance last year. I think he only played in one game. Um, but he's taken over the starting job this year. He looks comfortable in the preseason. He's got Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin to throw to deep, who are both pretty talented at that position. Um, he's also got Eric Bieniemy as
yeah.
the offensive coordinator now. So it'll be interesting to see what that offense looks like going forward. Brian Robinson's pretty solid at running back. So it'll be interesting to see. I feel like he could take a big step up and be
I'm
pretty solid, at least for them.
I'm very glad you brought up Eric Bieniemy. One guy in the NFL who does not get his flowers is Eric Bieniemy. There's no way, as an offensive coordinator, you put up these type numbers for five, don't get a head coaching gig.
Yeah.
But guys like Josh McDaniels, who turns down a coaching, like
Yep.
the
Exactly.
minority rule, the Rooney rule has to still be in place, and we have to start following that. But I love the pick. I love Sam Howell. I think he beat the Cowboys last year, didn't he?
I think he did play in that game, or yeah, I think that is the game he played in.
Yeah, I think it was his second or third start in the last
Hmm.
game, but he put it on him. I think they were winning like 21-0. Part of
Yeah.
that was Prescott throwing it right to the corner. They ran the same play twice. I don't know why, but I don't know if you remember that Dak throws it out and it gets dropped by the one corner. Right? Same
Yeah.
play, second down. He catches it and he runs it back, and I'm like, why? Like, just but
Hey
Sam
man, that's just Dak, man. That's just what he does.
whack Prescott.
Whack Prescott, yes sir. My third sophomore breakout kind of plays back a little bit ago to the Eagles taking Georgia Bulldogs. N'Kobe Dean, I
Mm,
think, will take a
like that.
big step up this year. He didn't get a whole lot of opportunity last year. The only reason he dropped at all is because he was rehabbing an injury at the time. And I feel like he was an absolute steal. They just lost their starting linebacker from last season. I forget where he went, but he'll get plenty opportunity in year two. He is a little undersized. I think he's under 6 foot, maybe 5'11",
Yeah.
but he has all the ability to rush the passer. He showed some flash at pass coverage at Georgia. So I feel like he'll take a huge step forward in that Eagles defense.
So for my three sophomore breakouts, number one, I'm going with Desmond Ritter, quarterback for the Atlantic Falcons. Felt like he finished the season strong last season. He didn't really have a lot of weapons either. Drake London missed the last 3 games for him. He only played the last 4, so that's 3 out of 4. Kyle Pitts missed all of the games as well, and Cordell Patterson actually missed the last 2. So he didn't really have a lot to work with last year when he did play. So I feel like him getting more in sync, Kyle Pitts being healthier, and Drake London looks like he took another step as well at wide receiver, and they drafted B. John Robinson. So I expect my boy to be great this year, man.
Oh, for sure.
Number two, it's going to sound a little biased, but I love Cam Taylor Britt from the Cincinnati Bengals. He was our corner, our CB1 from last year, last 5 weeks. Chidobe Awuzie towards ACL against Cleveland. And we kind of had about 3 weeks where we didn't know who the CB1 was. And here he comes as a rookie, guarding the best players. I know he guarded Amari Cooper greatly. He took Stephon Diggs one-on-one in the playoffs and held him to only 3 grabs when he was guarding. Man got a pick, to seal the end of the game. So I think Cam Taylor Britt, and he's very Mike Hilton like. If you know Mike Hilton, he's very
Oh,
Mike.
for sure.
Got that dog in him. You can't cook that dog. He got
So
that
he
got that dog in him. But yeah, he
he,
can't cook
he ain't a little pup.
that.
He a
Yeah,
big dog. He ain't a little pup.
Yeah, I'm talking about real Rottweiler, real German Shepherd, But yeah, he got a little dog in him, I think him taking another step this year is pivotal to the Bengals' success. As Cheeto is coming off a torn ACL, which weirdly he just got cleared yesterday to play Week 1, which is kind of insane. Only 8.5 months, but I think that's another reason why Cam Taylor-Britt has to take another step. And my last guy on this list is his name is Kobe Bryant, not the basketball player, the football player from Seattle. He was third in forced fumbles last year as a rookie, only starting in 9 of the games. I said he was third in forced fumbles, starting as a rookie, and only played in 9 of the games. He wasn't the best corner on the team. Obviously, they had the Woolen, so I think with Woolen, they drafted Witherspoon out of Illinois, another corner this year in the first round. Kobe Bryant can go back to his original, position, which is nickel, kind of
Yeah,
like a Mike Hilton-ish. He had 3 sacks last year, 70 tackles. So I think with more time to play, more production, and they got a deep secondary, a very deep corner room in Seattle. So Pete Carroll knows what he's doing.
yeah, for sure.
And then yeah, that's it for our sophomores breakouts, and get to the South, man. You want to
Yes, sir. NFC South breakdown, bro. You want to go first, or you want me to lead off?
you can lead us off on this topic. You can lead us off.
All right. Taking the division next year was a toss up for me. But I think the two teams are pretty evident. It's the Falcons and the Saints. The Saints probably I'm leaning more towards. I think they have a better overall like polished roster. They got a more veteran quarterback coming into this season.
Actually,
We'll have to see how Michael Thomas comes back. They still got the Honey Badger. They're going to be without Alvin Kamara for a few weeks, but I think if they can get flowing early and then add a guy like Alvin Kamara, then that team will be tough. But I also believe in the Falcons with Desmond Ritter, like you was just saying, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. That offense is loaded as long as Ritter can come in and ball out a little bit for him.
X. And I like AJ Terrell as well as on the corner position.
Lockdown.
I'm aligned with you actually. Those are literally my first two teams. Is I got the Saints going 10-7, literally for the same reasons. You got Marshawn Lattimore coming back. You still got the Honey Badger, Cam Jordan. I think you bring in Derek Carr, who's got to be the best QB in the division right now. So you're looking at the best at least roster top to bottom in the division with the most experience and the best quarterback in the division. So yeah,
Yeah.
I got the Saints winning it at 10-7. And I think the Falcons sneak at the number 2 seed at 9-8. I really like that Falcon team, but I think just the Saints schedule is so right now at least it's so easy to look at and say, how do they not get 9 and 10 wins? So
Yeah, for sure.
the Falcons just finishing short to win the division at 9.
I had both of them winning 9 and 8 this year, but I think the Saints take it over by winning the tiebreakers. I think they win the division. Number 3, I got the Panthers. Uh, thin at the receiver, like I discussed earlier, and Bryce Young. He's a rookie, but he's obviously got the talent. Um, and the Buccaneers, the reason I got them last is because they had a losing record last year with Tom Brady as their quarterback. I don't expect Baker Mayfield to come in and do any better than Tom Brady did last year. So I got the Saints, then the Falcons. I got the Panthers going 7-10, and I got the Buccaneers probably winning 5 or 6 games.
Wow. So that's literally the opposite of me. I got the Bucks going 7-2. I think with defensive guys like you still got the white guy, Levante White. That didn't sound right. And the corner Davis. So they still have some key pieces there on defense as well. I do agree. You are kind of dropping back at quarterback, but the fact that the other teams didn't necessarily get that much better, like I still see them winning 7-ish games. I'm not too down on Baker as everyone else is. So I think Brady looked really bad as a 45, 46-year-old. So
Yeah.
but
Well, Baker, he showed flashes at the end of last season. He had that game with the Rams that, you
yeah,
know, he
he got
looked like
right. on Tuesday, bought out on Thursday. So
Yeah.
tough to do that.
So, it depends on what kind of Baker we get because he showed flashes. All he did in Cleveland was show flashes. He never really took that step. So if he can finally figure out his way, he's got Mike Evans. Mike Evans is probably the best wide receiver he's had so far. I don't think that's a stretch to say.
It's not. That's
Because I don't think he played with Cooper Cup. Cup was already hurt last year when
yeah.
they
He didn't get
when
Cooper Kupp, and he didn't get healthy Odell. So it's
yeah. Well, I mean, he had an Odell, but he didn't like Odell. That's what I'm gonna call that. He didn't like Odell.
I know
But
it.
Mike Evans is probably the best, from week one wide receiver that he's gonna have. So, if he could take that step forward, then maybe they will be a little bit better. But
My thing though, I don't understand the Panthers. I don't see them getting 7 games. I love Bryce Young, but outside of Bryce Young, the defense was top 10 last year, top 12, but the O line lost 2 pieces, and you traded
mhm.
the best 2 pieces you have on offense, not including your line, your right tackle and your left guard. So
Yeah,
tough they definitely didn't give Bryce Young the best stuff to work with. But I
no,
think he's a baller. I like how he plays the game. I think he sees the field pretty good for as young as he is, as at least in the preseason from what I've seen. So I think he'll fare. I just don't know if the talent's around him. It'll kind of be like a Justin Fields situation in Chicago where you're going to have to see a number one brought in to see if you can get his true potential reach. So
yeah, for sure. Bryce Young, my biggest thing with him is his size. I mean, he's like listed at like 6 foot, but if he's 6 foot, then like, come on now.
you might be 6'9".
Honestly, I might be because he ain't no goddamn 6 foot. He's like 5'9", 5'10", with Air Forces on. If we're
But
being honest, but he does have all the ability. Everybody saw it every week at Alabama. He always ball, but they also did bring him in with no weapons, no real weapons around him, hardly. So it'll be interesting. They do have Miles Sanders, but I don't know that Miles Sanders is going to be enough of an impactful player to.
yeah, I'm not the biggest Miles Sanders fan. I feel like he was slightly overrated with the best offensive line in football.
Yeah,
I feel like I could have got you 900 yards and 7 TDs off that O line. So,
that O line was crazy.
and he never really stayed healthy enough for me. I had him in fantasy, so I know he
Yeah,
never played 2 straight weeks. So
yeah,
that's going to be a killer. And for them to have the running back depth in Philly, and you still couldn't stay healthy, like he's only getting 10 to 12 carries a game. Like
yeah.
they expect you to be a workhorse now. So I just don't know. I'm not really sure how the Panthers will fare if they get over 8 wins. Man, that's a blessing.
Oh, for sure. I have it written down at I think they get 5, maybe 6 if they're lucky. Maybe they sneak a couple, division games or whatever. I don't see them winning any against New Orleans. I don't see them winning either of the ones against Atlanta. Atlanta went 7-10 last year. They won 7 games with Marcus Mariota,
Yeah.
and I think quite a few of those, 9 of their 10 losses last year actually were one possession.
Yeah.
And
They,
Marcus Mariota was their quarterback. So that says a lot. I mean, they're a halfway decent quarterback play away from winning a majority of their games last year, honestly.
I think Minica stole a game, didn't he? Minica Fitzpatrick, he stole a game from the Falcons last year.
Yeah,
The pick six ended. I think he ended up ending the game with that.
yeah.
But I think that covers everything for Redzone Rants. I got one more question to leave you with, Dev.
What's up?
The Steelers aren't a football team. I need 2 Super Bowl contenders, not including the Steelers.
This year?
Both conferences. Who will be playing in the Super Bowl?
Damn. Right now, off the top of my head, I don't see any reason why the Eagles can't go back out of the NFC. And the past few years has had me leading up to wanting to say the Bills are finally going to get over that hump. but I've seen too little in the biggest moments from Josh Allen out there to hop on that hype train again. I'm out on the Bills. It's either going to be Kansas City or Cincinnati, probably coming out of the AFC.
Yeah. I wouldn't sleep on the rest of the AFC teams as well. I think the AFC is a very
It's so loaded in the AFC, dude. The quarterback play alone is ridiculous.
Herbert's due for a pretty breakout year. Lawrence got a very easy path, so I think it'll be interesting. You ask me, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys and Joe Burrow. I think Aaron. I think Joe Burrow will get a ring, man. I think he gets his first ring beating the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm going to give my score prediction right now. I'm going to say 31-23 Cincinnati.
Okay, Cincinnati doesn't exist. Who's coming out of the AFC now?
Okay.
I think there's a lot of potential in a lot of guys, like Chargers, Jags, Ravens. The AFC is deep.
You know,
The AFC East alone is deep.
I like. I like. Ah. Oh, because something about the Chargers team, I just think it's like cursed. Like
27-0 in the playoffs. That screams cursed if I've ever seen it, dude. That's crazy work.
But I think if there was two teams that can really surprise me, I don't think Kansas City is going to go back. They lost two O-line starters and they lost all their weapons. And Sky Moore had, but I think they got Mahomes, so they'll always be relevant, containing. But you said no Bengals and no KC, so like I'm with you. I'm not sold on Josh Allen. I think that time was to win 2 years ago in Kansas City, and they didn't get it done.
It's crazy because I want to be sold on Josh Allen.
I,
I think he's talented, but that game at home, they got the weather on their side. They got the hype from that game that got canceled a few weeks prior. They got every reason in the world to go
in a suite, like,
yeah.
oh,
They got every reason imaginable to defend home field in the playoffs against the Bengals, and that was probably the worst Josh Allen game I've ever seen. One of the worst. Yeah, for sure.
that was crazy because they had that whole saga going on, and Joe Burrow went in there poker face, like, I care, like, had a 150 yards to start that game and 2 touchdowns. I still haven't seen Joe Burrow look as impressive as I seen him look that first half.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But
and
yeah,
what's even crazier is I'd say they even took their foot off the gas a little bit, and Buffalo could not close the gap at all.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is the Bengals offense actually didn't score the last 7 possessions. But
what don't make any sense is Josh Allen. We saw him on the road in Kansas City in that playoff game where he was going back and forth between Mahomes, and yet just last year now he's putting up home playoff stinkers. So I don't know how he's.
It's Coach Lou. Lou Anarumo is a top 3 defensive coordinator in today's game.
Yeah.
Not even close. I mean, the guy loses somebody every week. The guy started Eli Apple for 2 years. I mean, he's the reason why Eli Apple has a job today. Right now, today. So I think Lou Anarumo, he never gets his credit, but he'll be somebody's head coach going forward. So
that is very possible for sure.
Anything you want to give us before we log out of here, man?
Nah, I think we had a pretty productive episode today.
Yeah,
looking forward to more.
Definitely forward to talking to you guys again, man. Talking to you, Dev. It's always a pleasure, man. To the audience, what was that teacher? What did he used to say? It's been real. It's been fun. I don't know if it's been real fun, but
maybe a little bit.
See you guys next time. It's Redzone Rants. I'm Ant.
This is Dev.